Hello and welcome. You're watching Head to Head. I'm Jason L. Jones with UATV. After 12 hours of negotiations, the Trilateral Contact Group in Minsk has decided to extend the ceasefire in Donbas. However, the sides failed to agree on the prisoners' exchange list due to unknown technical reasons. To talk more about this results at the Minsk talks, we welcome to our studio Oleksandr Levchenko, Ambassador of Ukraine to the Republic of Croatia from 2010 to 2017, and the Ambassador of Ukraine to Bosnia and Herzegovina in 2011 to 2017. Hello, Alexander. Thank you for coming. So, from these meetings, how would you say the talks went? What were your final impressions of everything after the discussions were ended?
Of course, we know that at the Normandy summit, it was agreed to fulfill completely exchange of list of detainees persons on principle all for all. As a first stage, all identified for all identified persons. And it was very important discussion in Minsk. But what we know about these results, unfortunately, two sides not agreed with, from some technical reasons, this is the list of these persons. But as for me, I'm quite sure that before New Year, two sides using the other technical regimes like internet or Skype will agree this list because in Paris, three presidents, it's Ukrainian president, Russian president, president of France, and federal chancellor agreed that before New Year we have to exchange all these persons. It's political agreement, and of course all sides should or have to, or I think must, to implement this agreement from the Paris summit.
Okay, so you're pretty certain that they'll...
I suppose it will be fulfilled next week, maybe next 10 days.
Okay. And this is kind of I know you're very certain about this, but I mean we present on the different issues that are happening in Donbas on a daily basis. As of today, even there, especially with the ceasefire is concerned, there were we had. By daybreak, Russian hybrid troops fired at Ukrainian positions 7 times. The militants used grenade launchers, small arms, and infantry fighting vehicles, and this is a constant thing. How certain are you that, Russia is going to abide by this ceasefire again, even though it's extending, but they keep, going back on the ceasefire? So what's the point of it? If they, how trustworthy are they?
Of course, if we haven't this ceasefire, the tension at the cross line very high, it provocates some other things, and of course it's more in interest of Moscow than in Kiev, because our general line to finish this conflict on the basis of Minsk agreement, and of course. We have also from Paris very important agreement between three presidents and federal chancellors that before the end of this year we should agree with another side comprehensive and full ceasefire. Okay, we have yet 11-12 days. Unfortunately, we have before maybe 20 or 22 ceasefire agreement, which not followed by Russian side. But this time it's the resolution of Normandy summit. It's a resolution at the high political level, and I have small optimism that two sides first of all, will agree this comprehensive and full ceasefire, and maybe some period of times 100% Ukrainian side. I couldn't say about another side. We will fulfill all our obligation about this ceasefire.
Okay. So the sides failed to agree on the prisoner exchange list due to unknown technical reasons. We have a soundbite of the OSCE representative to the group, Martin Seidik, who talks about the prisoner exchange. So let's take a listen.
All sides wish to hold this exchange. There are various technical and operative moments which need to be clarified, but the sides really strive to carry out the exchange by the end of this year.
Okay, so you strongly believe that this is going to work out.
Absolutely.
Do you think there could be any, I guess, complications that could, on both sides, will hopefully don't arise, but could possibly, get in the way of this exchange?
I wasn't at this negotiation process in Minsk, but I suppose it was some complication the presenting position of this list. For this detained person, and maybe after 7-8 days, Ukrainian side and other side will fulfill completely the list of this person, and of course we have also a resolution of Normandy summit where strictly point that to the end of this year, two sides should realize this agreement for detained persons and realize exchange this person on principles of all for all. And as a first stage, what I say, all identified persons for all identified persons.
Okay. And so there are, the subgroups have had dialogues about the 3 new sections for disengagement of the forces. According to the agreement, it's supposed to happen on March 30th. What sections do you believe could possibly be?
Ukrainian side prepares these 3 sections and sends our view to other side for review and for study. And now we're waiting the information from that side. Are they also want to be in this process of additional disengagement areas, these three proposed by Kiev, 3 disengagement areas, or they propose other areas. It could be negotiate, of course, it could be negotiate, and then I suppose in very short period of time, because it's also decision of the Normandy summit, we should agree strictly what this is 3 areas where will be disengagement.
Okay. Meanwhile, on the other side, the political subgroup, there was discussions about updating the Minsk agreements. So earlier, Mr. Putin has expressed his, how against he is, how against it he is to make any changes to the Minsk agreement, and that the Kremlin wants, he wants for Ukraine to regain control of the Russian border after the Donbas elections, whereas Ukraine wants it before. Do you believe that some of the points of the Minsk agreements can be changed? I mean, if it's,
Ukrainian side and President Vladimir Zelensky proposed this view because, according to the Minsk agreement, this local election should be according to the Ukrainian law and Ukrainian constitution. And, the spirit of this election should be free and which will recognized by international organizations like OSCE, Council of Europe, and some other, United Nations. But at the same time, really, the text of Minsk agreement, we have this sentence that Ukrainian side will take over the control under this 400 kilometers uncontrolled border, Ukrainian-Russian, at the next day after local election. And it's not normal. We should organize this election according to the Ukrainian law, but at the same time, border not controlled by Ukrainian side. It's abnormal. It's not according to not only to the national law, but according to the international law. Because if you are not control the border, the results of this local election will be uncontrolled. Of what I know, some things could be happen, not normal things, and absolutely normally that we open the discussion about this principle, and now Kremlin not agree with us, of course, because they want to be strictly to this Minsk agreement. But if you remember the statement of Federal Chancellor Madame Merkel, she said that the text and of Minsk agreement could be in some discussion, because it was agreed 4.5, 5 years ago, and some things have happened, and we need some new view and to give a new impulse to this agreement.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Oleksandr, for all your insights. I wish we had more time to go and dig deeper.
Thank you for the invitation.
It's a pleasure having you. It's a pleasure having you. So hopefully I'll be back for another time, especially with as things unfold, as new updates come out. That was Oleksandr Levchenko, Ambassador of Ukraine to the Republic of Croatia from 2010 to 2017, and the Ambassador of Ukraine to Bosnia and Herzegovina in 2011 to 2017. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for our next head-to-head.